Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 11 of Unnamed Memory. Well. This show has been dragging its feet about the concept of marriage for a variety of episodes now. And yet, in one episode, we get both an acceptance of a proposal and the wedding itself. That definitely caught me by surprise. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. I kind of wish that we'd seen a slightly different path for how we got here, and I really do wish that we'd taken more time to emphasize the relationship so that this would actually feel like it had more impact. As it was, and as it was presented, it seemed to me that basically Tinasha was basically just going, okay, fine, whatever. It seems like he ground her into acceptance as opposed to her making a decision, because even here, it wasn't her coming to him and telling him that she decided she wanted to do this. It's simply that he asked one more time, and she agreed to go along with it. It's really a strange feeling for me, because I'm usually somebody who's very excited when I see a wedding going on. But when I think about the various relationships that I've looked at in this season, whether it is Dami and Ogro in Remonster, or Zagan and Nuffy in An Archdemon's Dilemma, or the orchestrated and forced setup with Darkness and Alderp in Konosuba, this relationship here is only like 2 or 3 steps up from the Konosuba forced villain relationship, because I just don't buy into or feel the emotion between the two characters romantically. I think they can fight well together, and we'll talk about that later. But the show hasn't taken the necessary steps to really get me on board with the romance. It's not the first or the last time I'm sure I'll be saying that, but at least I'm being honest about how I feel. While I'm on this topic of complaining about things, another thing that I need to call out in this particular episode is I did not like the personal dynamics between Oscar and Tinasha here when they were dealing with situations as a couple. I just genuinely didn't like it. I understand that he's concerned about her safety. I can support him on that. And I understand that she is independent and is used to doing her own thing, as she is 400 years old. What I do not understand or agree with personally is that he was twisting her ears like she was a small child in front of people. Now, I understand that this is a medieval setting, that he hypothetically likely has the right to do to her whatever she pleases, especially since they are still hypothetically, to my awareness, under a contract. So it's not that he was technically incorrect, but if this is somebody he is striving to spend the rest of his life with, the behavior I saw there, if I was her, would be like, nope, I'm out. The minute that contract's done, we gone, it's over, finito. And I mean, she does things that drive me crazy too. I've talked about that in the past, but this time it was him. The other thing that really aggravated me was the scene of intimacy between the two, which of course we didn't get all the juicy details because that would definitely change the rating of this show, but we got enough to know what was going down, and we were aware, at least from the last episode, that these two have been being intimate for a while now. And what really bothered me about it is the fact that she was not interested in the advances he was making toward her, and he had absolutely no regard for that. Now, it's a complicated thing, especially now that they are actually married, because on one hand, I am not somebody who believes in the idea of utilizing sexual attraction as a way to push around your partner. I'm not somebody who buys into the I have a headache every night somebody wants to be with you. On the other hand, though, it's very important to recognize that there are going to be times when somebody does not want to do that. And the idea that he was already disregarding her lack of interest before they were even engaged should have been the most massive of massive red flags for her to GTFO. And the fact that she didn't, and that was okay, and that it never came up as an issue, it just didn't sit right with me personally. Now, again, I'm talking from a modern perspective. From what I've researched, I looked this up for something else a while back, that didn't become illegal in Canada, a husband to get his wife to do something whether or not she consented, until 1983. So the idea that there was anything she could really do about it here, outside of powers and throwing down, which would make no sense for the plot, isn't really a thing. But again, this is just something that was a personal pet peeve of mine. It rubbed me the wrong way. And these two things I'm talking about here probably did tinge how I felt about the wedding situation, on top of anything that had happened prior. And as I said, it just didn't really work for me. I mean, I'm not mad that they got married, but I feel sad that I don't really feel anything. Like, that sucks. Usually I'm somebody who's all hyped up about something like that, and I'm not feeling that here. What I did quite enjoy, though, was the actual interactions about Leonora and Unai, and the challenge of fighting them, and what they represented hypothetically to each of these characters who have been our main characters throughout the season. Because that was actually really smartly done, and I was quite pleased with it. First off, let's talk about the symbolism of these two characters and how they actually work as foils for our two main characters. Unai is the prince of a nation, and he has been taken under control by a witch. She's done stuff to him, she's altered him, she's using him, he's her pawn. Like, he is a perfect foil for Oscar, who knows what he wants, who gets what he wants, who does what he wants, who never listens to anything, and who fully has his own free will. At the same time, Leonora is a perfect mirror for Tinasha. Leonora uses people as she wishes, she manipulates things as she wishes, and she does so out of the blue and for any reason that she personally desires. While we have definitely seen situations where Tinasha has or has tried to manipulate things, she does usually do them at least out of good intentions, and often when she tries to do them, she is caught and she is told off. So while Tinasha is not guilt-free, and I'm sure Oscar's hands aren't clean either, I'm sure he's made his own issues as well, the fact of the matter is that they both actually come out better than these two do as far as the way that they behave and interact and everything on a general scale, regardless of what I think of their interpersonal connections. And then we move on to the fight, which was actually a pretty interesting and solid fight. It was interesting how they got separated. It was interesting how she successfully planned out this thing with the ribbon. It was cool how that was utilized to get them to reunite and work together. And ultimately, the thing I liked the most about the entire situation is the idea that they actually switched opponents, because Tinasha had spent all of that time training Oscar in how to kill a witch, and everybody likely felt there was a high possibility that it was going to be her on the receiving end of that blow. But even after we see that that is not going to be the case and things have shifted to where they are now, we see that Oscar's training is being put to good use, because Tinasha could not take Leonora out on her own because she has been intimate with Oscar and has broken her spirit magic, but she's smart enough to realize that Oscar can do what she can't, and they shift positions, taking their enemies by surprise and defeating them. And I thought that was really, really smart. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good episode. Most of what was wrong with it wasn't anything to do with actual plot or structuring within the context of the episode itself. Anything that I've said that seemed wrong was more so a matter of personal taste here. There wasn't anything I saw personally where something jumped around or made no sense or was a complete discontinuation of what the heck they had been showing me 5 minutes prior. There was none of that this time. So it was pretty good, and I enjoyed it for the most part, despite any nitpicks I had at the start of the discussion. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys thought of this episode, so feel free to drop a comment below and let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye!